I'm glad you're here with me again. This time I have a question from Sunshine. My job breeds narcissists. It's pure hell. They are jealous, bullies who ruin lives. They are liars and racists who have caused suicides and nervous breakdowns. Now they are trying to ruin me. I've tried every tactic to maneuver around, but it's getting tiresome. Every new employee joins in because either they are trying to avoid being a target or they enjoy the behavior. Jobs are rare, so I need the job. What should I do? After that, Sunshine provided some more information about her background so I can customize the answer. Sunshine is an African American living in the United States, in the South. She says there's always racism everywhere, but the South is far worse. Thank you, Sunshine, for being here. First, let's remember that the whole world now is paying the price of racism and national emotional bias and hatred of others. It's not your job that breeds narcissists. It's the current decadent society we are living in. This society that can afford abuse. You can see the dynamics very clearly when someone is jailed for a minor crime because he's from the hood, but Fauci and Pelosi and Bush and Clinton, they can enslave and murder millions. Yet, everyone is still intellectually debating them. Dr. Fauci, what do you think? Senator Paul, you are completely wrong. Yeah, but Dr. Fauci, 2 years of intellectualizing and debating, no action taken. The enablers have abducted people into Gitmo and tortured them to death for no crime whatsoever, only based on suspicion. But the Wall Street criminals and the white-collar criminals are smirking their way out of every evident crime they commit. And until now, everyone enabled that because everyone was easily distracted by fears and desires and opportunism. So nowadays, the whole world is paying off their debt and hopefully learn something from it. I won't say learn about spirituality in order not to sound disconnected from reality. On the contrary, we are very grounded. So I'd call it learning about the world of the invisible, the world of intention and motivation. Until recently, most people were living in denial, living in the illusion of the visible, the materialistic, the verbal, the distorted perception and vision that the media shaped for them. Now everyone is being forced to look inside, to gaze into the world of spirit, to observe and find the Holy Grail, judgment. They must have brought the judgment day on themselves in order to see judgment with their own eyes and hopefully act upon it in the face of distraction and temptation. Their lack of judgment is like when there's a black box and a white box and someone doesn't acknowledge the difference. The person either cannot see the difference or can see it, but denies it for an interest or for emotional bias or for sexual bias, or perhaps doesn't dare to acknowledge the difference in order not to be scapegoated. That's why it's only a matter of time for those to start losing their judgment and vision, and later losing their inspiration and creativity. So they'd have no way but to live desperately dependent and parasitic. And there are those who do acknowledge the difference and honor their vision by acknowledging the truth with gratitude and action, and by standing behind their judgment in the face of temptation and peer pressure. Those are those who grow their ability to see the world of the invisible, aka the world of spirit. But first they need to acknowledge the world of the visible, the earth, through access direct to reality, not through filters and distorted perception, direct access to reality. But not only that many deny even what they see with their own eyes in the moment of a whim, but they even deny the truth about who they really are. Then they are confused about what they see. They hesitate. They weigh whether the box is black or white, though they see it with their own eyes. We can see it today on a collective global scale. We know it also from school. When a child abuses another, but the teacher, instead of acknowledging who the perpetrator is and who the victim is, and acting accordingly, she says, "We must have empathy and solidarity, so now apologize to each other and shake hands." As if both did the same thing. But when the victim reacts, even verbally, suddenly, he's a terrorist and should carry the mark of Cain. No more solidarity, no more empathy, no more tolerance, no more compassion. Suddenly the scapegoat is to be mercilessly punished and disciplined and taught a lesson, while the real abuser is still smirking with no consequences whatsoever. He might even be massaged and rewarded. What kind of judgment is that? Does anyone really expect harmony and functionality in such systems? Of course there will be chaos and confusion and pain and wars and poverty and slavery. If a soldier kills hundreds but gets killed, his country makes a tragic video of him with slow motion and sad music. The video is not about the hundreds that he murdered, but about him. Oh, he had a dog. Oh, he liked to write poetry. Oh, his mom loved him. And they show his milestones with glorification. But if a scapegoat resists the soldier trying to rape his sister and kills the soldier, there is only one word to summarize all that. One word to summarize the character of that person: a terrorist. And that's it. No one should ask about the details, about the real motives, what really happened. No one cares. No further questions. Neither about whether he had a dog or hobbies or whether his mom loved him. Just call him a terrorist. And that is the answer for all the questions. No intentions, no motives, no milestones, no cause and effect, nothing. The word terrorist should summarize everything for the blind idiots to stay on board. And then it was convenient to accept such nonsense, but for the narcissist, it's never enough. Now the narcissist is coming for the enablers. They are symptomatic. You are a criminal until proven otherwise. You are sick. You are infectious until proven otherwise. You are a terrorist. In the airport, you had to be checked like a criminal until proven otherwise. You're the unvaccinated. You're a terrorist. No one cares why they don't want to be raped. Just stamp them with the mark of Cain. Anti-science, conspiracy theorists, and from the terminology of the family of terrorists. The enabler or the teacher in the previous example might have seen the abusive intentions of the golden child and the actions, but ignored them or downplayed them because it's more convenient. It can also be that she didn't see anything at all. But her apathy and lack of care allowed her to base her judgment on her lack of vision. Until she's not held accountable personally, someone else will pay the price of her lack of judgment. This pattern of group dynamics has been accepted to be normal everywhere. In families, schools, the workplace, governments, even in the court of law. Bureaucrats love this pattern. This is important because here, people can perceive only the effect of the cause, but never the cause itself, because the cause lies in the world of the invisible. That's why they love their version of science, the science. Because if it's not visible, it means it doesn't exist. If the crime cannot be tracked, it means there was no crime. So dear Sunshine, this is not only your personal experience, but a global epidemic. And we have been talking about it here for years on this channel. And the snowball is only growing to inconceivable dimensions. Opportunism and hypocrisy and cowardice are becoming more monstrous and mainstream. And here, the main thing that we can do is abandoning the sinking ship. I'm not talking here necessarily about migrating or moving to a different state or seeking refuge, but more importantly, letting go of the social programming and convictions, social convictions, because the answer is inside in the world of the invisible. The hidden war between the privileged golden child and the scapegoated empath is about sovereignty. That's why, regardless of how many privileges the golden child has, he or she will always invade for what the empath has, to access the emotional wealth that can never be bought by mommy and daddy, but only by morals. But the golden child cannot grow morals because his sense of entitlement has judged them as pathetic or as any other negative connotation. So the golden child must always try to invade for emotional supply. But if the empath also grows the emotional intelligence to protect his or her emotional and financial wealth, it is the idea of sovereignty. We're not talking about independence in the sense of being disconnected. This is not realistic. We are all dependent on the air to breathe, on food, on water, and on the sun to survive. I speak about sovereignty in the sense of being mature, who doesn't need a parent to tell him what to do or to give him shelter and to provide for him or her financially and also emotionally. Being part of a team is great. It's even leverage, but not in a team where relationships are codependent, but rather interdependent. You say jobs are rare, so I need a job. What should I do? You think jobs are created on their own? Someone created them. Someone like you who has vision, who plans, who acts accordingly. Those are skills to develop. I hear this a lot from foreigner haters in Europe who pretend to be patriots, but they say that migrants take their jobs. Of course, it's easier that instead of acknowledging their incompetence and their helplessness and lack of vision and lack of creativity, they prefer to blame migrants in order to feel good with themselves, in order to feel superior and to protect their sense of superiority. But if they were really superior and intelligent and visionary and creative, as they wish it to be, then they could have created jobs for themselves and for others and enriched themselves and their beloved nation. But the easiest thing is to blame others. That's why I say all answers are not out there, they are inside. As a free human being, no one has to give me a job. Please, the market is open. And you can create as many jobs as you want. No one would stop you. But in order to reach that level of vision and intelligence and judgment, you have to be sovereign first, emotionally and then financially. They see the world of race and gender, the world of the visible, yet they manage to mistake it all for what they wish it to be. So if Jesus himself was standing in front of their eyes, they would tell him, excuse me, Jojo, you are not the race that we prefer, so we reject you, but it would be great if you help us find someone that has the same kind of knowledge and skills that you have, but looks like the skin color that we prefer. How many trains and salvations has humanity been missing because of this mindset? The knowledge is in the world of the invisible. Gender and race and age and skin color, all those are in the world of the visible. And they are mostly camouflage. And unfortunately, most people are stuck in the world of the visible, from all identifications, from all sides. That's why many of them are beyond saving. And all we can do in the moment is not to be around when they fall, regardless of which image they project. The mask is a visible symbol that was trended recently. The hidden world of psychological warfare and the demoralization of the West in this case. All that seems to be invisible, even to the American military academies. The demoralization campaign that aimed to rip the target of its sovereignty has so easily infiltrated the West. Of course, with the help of the Trojan horses, the Western politicians. That could easily be bought, because there is no sovereign country without sovereign people and sovereign spirits. Any system must be sustained by a compatible spirit. A sovereign system must be sustained by sovereign spirits. When everyone's dream becomes having a safe bureaucratic job or being an employee in a governmental organization until one dies, then the system must also rot. Who's going to produce? If everyone thinks they just want to manage and organize, who's going to produce? I've asked you, Sunshine, about your national background just for a practical reason, so I can estimate the range of action that is attainable to you. And I can tell you that I know cultures where women could be killed for walking their own path. Also men, but women specifically, because in some cultures they are disadvantaged also systematically and legally. So they have a much tighter range of action. You live in the United States. You have endless opportunities, and all it requires is your direct access to reality, your ability of vision and detection of the like-minded, and the ability to reach out and communicate. Here we need to stop looking at survival only as a monthly check. This is the slavery system, but we start looking at everything as an infinite potential. And then we access a world of abundance, even when it's not in the world of the visible to others yet. We see abundance in potential, in competence, in the environmental conditions and resources, in the human network, in the attainable technologies, and endless of factors that can be converted into sustainability. The whole world is going through transformation right now, and this transformation would have not happened if everything was harmonious. Chaos caused because things went out of balance. And the more we insist on staying in the state of imbalance, the longer chaos stays. So you can see here that chaos is an indication. It's a reminder that you are not walking your path, and it's time to change, to follow your passion, to stop insisting to be surrounded by abusive people. and justifying that with convictions that show no trust in synchronicity and in the intelligence of our self-sustained organism. You know how many people out there are dragged into lives that they are not theirs, while resisting their emotional compass in the favor of the social indoctrination? Unless the consequence is not an irreversible damage, I don't recommend staying in a narcissistic environment. There are tools that can help overcome and even destroy narcissists. But in order for me to help people with those tools, they must be customized and might even require micromanagement, and it's time-consuming. Still, I do not recommend staying in narcissistic environments, even for those who are emotionally intelligent and even for experts. And if it's only a matter of salary, this is not an irreversible damage. You can create jobs, you can change your workplace, you can change occupation. There are countless ways out. But emotional sovereignty comes first. This is important in order to enable the flow of inspiration and imagination and creativity, in order to embody that sovereignty in the world of the physics. In that state, we can't afford compromising our vision and judgment for anyone. If we detect and connect with one's like-minded, even with one person, we are extremely lucky. If not, we keep going. I really hope you make your way out into a better reality. Many people want to go back to the old normal. The old normal was the same corrupt system. It's just that they didn't see it then, because the scapegoat looked different. We want a new normal where narcissists are held accountable, where parasitic entities are ousted instead of designated as superiors and supervisors. To a new normal where we reward achievement and creativity rather than self-entitled, lazy, decadent, and wasteful golden children. The day you start seeing yourself as a free sovereign being and acknowledging that uncompromisingly with action, you'll acknowledge your passion and let it guide you. Then a new path will show itself to you and a new reality will unfold. Thank you, Sunshine, for your comment. I hope I could inspire. Thank you, everyone, for staying with me. I'm Shredy Jabarin. Ciao.